Hello and welcome to this quick little how to create a instructional video combining PowerPoint and voice recording. So what we're going to look at today is we're going to look at how we can record our voice over the top of a PowerPoint, save that as a video, and to then upload that onto Google Classroom. First kind of the basics. Obviously you should get your PowerPoint sorted. Now obviously this can be one that you've already created, or it could be one that you're obviously creating for a lesson. So trying to think about how you would then rehearse that before you start having a go at recording it, and think about where you're going to put your pause points in for students to think, and also kind of what questions you're going to ask the students in the middle of it to aid their thinking. As well as being really instructional as what we're doing. Now, this is not a perfect PowerPoint that I would use for this necessarily, but it just is one that I've got, and trying to show you kind of the process that you'd go through. Okay, so the first one that we're going to look at is then how we record it. So I've got my PowerPoint together. I've got a bit of a starter questions for them to do, and then a bit of a recap, as well as then giving them some instructions as to what to do. So the first thing I would do is go to slideshow, and instead of the normal play from start, I'm going to go to record slideshow. Now this is going to bring up this thing here, and it's going to look a slightly different view, but actually this is really helpful in terms of us thinking about what's coming up next and to record it. Now the students won't see this view, they will just see the normal presentation. At this point what you're going to do is you're going to record what you want to say. So you could talk through different bits. You can click on various different things. So if I want to decide whether or not it's a winner or a fail, so this one's a fail, so I can talk them through each bit. So the PowerPoint will work just as you would do in a classroom, and you can talk it through. Now what I like to do is when I'm doing this is to give questions to the students, ask them to pause the video, and then to answer it, and then to press play. But make sure you give those pause points like you would in questioning in a classroom. You need to give that elongated, and it feels really weird when you are doing that, recording it. It feels an even longer period than it would even in the classroom. Now to move forwards and backwards, it will that you can either use these buttons here, to scroll through your slides, or you can use the arrow keys on your keyboard, and it will scroll through. So at this point we can start to scroll through. Now at each slide that you've got, it will record the timing for each slide. So your voice will link to each slide and what you've said about that slide. So we can do each bit. Now if you get stuck and you want to redo a slide, you can press this button at the top here, and that will take it back and you can have another go. If at any point you want to pause it, you can just press pause at the top, have another think, and then have another go, and then go again. We all need to do that at some points. Okay. Now, once you've clicked through all your slides and you've spoken through your lesson that you want the students to do, you might give them a task at the end that you say, I now want to pause on. Give it a while, pause it, and then reveal the answers. So this is what I'm going to do with mine. And you don't need to worry about doing algebraic fractions, but this is just an example of what one of my lessons is going to be this week. Okay, now at this point it will end the show, and it will tell you how long you spent on it, and you need to press yes at this point to save it. And at this point it will change the view of the slides, the slide deck, and each one will give a time as to where it's how long you spent on each slide. So you can see that because I was talking you through at the start, we spent a lot longer on the first one. Now if you need to have another go, record it again, and off we go. Now at this point we need to then change it so it's not a PowerPoint presentation, but rather a video for the students to be able to watch. Now I'm on a Mac, so it's slightly different for me, but it's the same if you sort of idea if you're on a PC. And you go to File, and you're going to go to Save As. So you can, if you're on a PC, go to Save As, or if you're on a Mac, go to Export. And at this point, you're going to choose where you're going to export it to, and you need to choose your file format. So I'm going to change it at this point to being a video. Now you've got different options in terms of file types for video. So the most common are MP4 and MOV. Or Windows Media Player. I tend to go for MP4 because that's the most commonly used, and it will work on iPads, it will work on a PC, and it will be much more compatible with a lot of different devices. At that point, you're going to press export or save, and it's going to take a little while. So at the bottom here, you can see that it's uploading this video to the GCSE, whatever you've named it as, and as you can see, the status bar, it goes a bit slower because it's basically converting the whole PowerPoint into a video. Okay, now at that point, we're going to then upload it onto Google Classroom with your instructions. So I'm going to go to Google Classroom, and whichever class you've got, you can then just go through this bit. So you can either do it as a post or as an assignment, as I'm sure you're all used to, and add a file. And at this point, we're going to then have my little video is ready. So it should look a bit like this, .mp4 at the end. And then you can just drag and drop this in and upload it. It will take a little while, and you can put your instructions as to what you want them to do as part of the video. So again, with your explanation, think very carefully about how you're going to explain it to the students about what you want them to do. So it could be, make sure you pause it when I say to pause. Okay, and we can now post that. And for the students then, they will get this. They will be able to click on it. It's just processing, but and then it will pop up here. Okay. So that's a quick little video on how to upload a PowerPoint presentation that you've spoken over.